Hi, it's Linda here from Homely Lass, and I'm going to show you how to crochet a chunky grounded cowl. To do this, we'll need one stitch marker, a tape measure, a pair of scissors, a 25mm or U crochet hook, and a skein of Homely Bliss chunky yarn. So I've wound this skein into a ball, so we're ready to go. So let's get started. I'll pull out a bit of yarn to start with. Okay, let's get going here. Okay, so we start off with a slip knot. And if you've got a preferred way of doing your slip knot, that's fine. Do it that way. We just need to make sure that you've got a 30cm end that we can weave in at the end. So this is one of the ways I do a slip knot, is I make a loop and then I put my fingers through it and flip it over. So one loop is attached to the end that's been cut and the other loop is attached to the ball. With the loop that's attached to the ball, pass it under the other loop and up through it and then pull that tight. So to check that your slip knot is right is just pull on the end that's attached to the ball, and if that makes the loop get bigger and smaller, we're ready to go. Okay. So we're going to start by doing the foundation chain, and the foundation chain consists of 30 chain stitches. So to do a chain stitch, it's simply pulling the yarn through the loop on the hook. And we're doing that 30 times. So yarn around the hook and through the loop, yarn around the hook and through the loop. So to count the stitches, you can count as you do them, or alternatively, you can count the stitches. So each chain stitch has a V. There's two legs that form a V. So it's just a matter of counting the V's. So 1, 2, and 3. So I've done 3. So now we go 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So to finish off the foundation chain, we're going to join the two ends together so we've got one big loop. And the important thing here is before we join them together, we need the ends together, we need to make sure that the loop isn't twisted. So I simply do that by getting the one side facing the one way, and then I put the sides, the same side, so I use the V sides, I put them together and just check, yep, that's right. Cool, we're not twisted. Okay, so flip that starting end just at the bottom, got the end that's attached to the ball on top. Let's do another check. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so we're going to join the two ends together by doing a slip stitch. So into the first stitch, we're going to, I said before that the chain stitch has the V's, and then on the back of the V's there's this loopy bit. So we're going to work the stitches of the first row into this loopy bit, so we leave the V on the outside. Excuse me. Okay, so to do a slip stitch, hook through the loop, so the loopy bit at the back, and then pull the yarn back through that loop, and then pull with that first loop, just pull it through the second one, which was the first stitch originally. So you end up with that. So to just do that again, so to do a slip stitch, put the hook through the loop and then pull the yarn through that loop and then pull it through the loop that's on the hook. So that's the end of the foundation chain. So now we're going to start row 1, and row 1 consists of double crochet stitches all the way around, and actually row 2, 3 and 4 is exactly the same. So the double crochet stitches we're doing is the UK terminology. If you're used to the US terminology, it's a single crochet stitch. Okay, so the first double crochet is done into the stitch we did the slip stitch through. So it's as simple as put the hook through that loop, pull the yarn back through that loop, and then yarn around the hook and pull it through the 2 loops that are on the hook. So that's a double crochet, and you should have something that looks like that. We're going to mark this stitch because it's the first one of the row, and this will make it easy at the end to know where we finish off. So it's just a matter of putting the stitch marker through the 2 legs of the V. Okay, so we're going to do double crochet stitches all the way around, and so just a little refresher. So through the knobbly bit at the back of the chain, so hook through that loop, through the knobbly bit, pull the yarn back through that loop, then yarn around the hook and through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's 2, so we're going to keep going. So that's 3, then 4, then 5, 6, so that's 6, get some more yarn out, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, time for some more yarn, 28, 29, and then 30. So just to check, a sanity check is, so 30, that's our last stitch. Then we've got the slip knot here, which we just ignore in this design. And then it's back to the first stitch that we marked. So that's the end of row 1. And it's also a good time just to check that your loop that you've made, your cowl, isn't twisted. Now it's time to start row 2. So row 2, we do 30 double crochet stitches, very similar to row 1. We start off by working into the mark stitch, so the first stitch from the last row. So each of these double crochet stitches has the 2 legs of the V, and we'll be putting the hook under both of those legs. So for the marked stitch, we put the hook under the 2 legs of the V, pull the yarn back through, then yarn around the hook and through the 2 loops on the hook. And because it's the first stitch, we're just going to move that stitch marker up. So under the 2 legs of the V, there we go. And so we're just going to do double crochet stitches all the way around. So hook under the 2 legs of the V, pull the yarn back through those, yarn around the hook and back through the 2 loops on the hook. So that's 2 stitches. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And just the sanity check at the end of row 2 is that's 30, the last stitch we've done, and then the next stitch is the marked one. So that's the end of row 2. Now we're ready to start row 3. So our first stitch, so row 3 is another row of double crochets, so 30 double crochet stitches. So we start off by doing a double crochet through the marked stitch. So that's our first stitch of the row, and we're just going to move that stitch marker up into it so we know where it is. There we go, so that's the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Grab a bit more yarn. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So just do the sanity check again, 30 stitches, last one into there. The next stitch is the marked one, which was the first one of the row. So we've done row 3. So now it's time to do row 4, which is our final row. So first stitch into the marked stitch. So it's just a row of double crochet stitches again. So once that first stitch is done, move the stitch marker up into the V's of that stitch. There we go. And so another 30 double crochet stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Time for some more yarn. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. So there we go. 30. So that's the end of row 4. So if you did want to count how many rows you've done, it's just a matter of counting the stitches. See these 2 legs under the V? So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the end of row 4. So to finish off your grounded cowl, we're going to do a slip stitch back into that first stitch of row 4, which is why we've marked it. Okay, so a slip stitch is just, so we've got the 2 legs marked, so hook through the 2 legs, pull the yarn through those, and then pull that same yarn through the loop on the hook, so we end up with 1 loop on the hook. And then it's just a matter of leaving about 30 centimeters, chopping that off, and just pulling that through that loop and pull that tight. You can pull the stitch marker out now. And just to secure that stitch so it your cowl won't come undone, I just like to tie a knot around it. So just around it like that. Okay, so now that's nice and secure. I flip the cowl over and we've got these 2 ends to weave in, and it's very easy. It's just a matter of weaving it using your fingers and just weaving it through a couple of stitches, and it doesn't matter where or how or anything. The matter is just to secure that end. So do maybe at least 5 stitches. And if you want to go a little bit uneven, you can. If you want to just go straight across, you can do that too. So that's about 5 stitches. Give it a bit of a jiggle. And then what I do is I tie a knot in the end of that, just so the ends don't come unfrayed, and then just snip that off. So it's nice and neat. And then we do that with the other end as well. So with this one, this is our starting end. What I like to do is I like to just pull it through a loop like that, just so it looks tidy, and you can experiment with how you do that. And same again, just pull it through the legs at the back of the stitches. So aim for about 5 stitches worth. Four and 5. You can do more, that's up to you. So this one might just go to the end of the yarn. So since we're getting close to the end of the yarn, just tie a knot in the end of it so it doesn't fray, and then just push that under the stitches. Give it a bit of a jiggle so it sits nice. And there's your cowl finish. So it's just a sanity check you can do is just to measure it. So the design should have it being about 1 metre around. This tape measure is just under 1 metre, so that's about right. If you'd like your cowl to be longer, it's just do a few extra stitches in the foundation chain and then each row. And it should be also about 10 centimetres wide. So that's about there. And if you'd like your cowl wider, it's just a matter of doing more rows. So there you go. I hope you enjoy making your grounded cowl and also wearing it.